Good morning. Welcome to Reading the Science of Mind in 1 Year. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the Center for Spiritual Living Common Ground in Central Maryland. Today is July 2nd. I apologize for the fan hum in the background. It's already well above 80 degrees, so the fan is a necessary evil this morning. So let's get started with our reading and see what comes alive in us to explore. Here we go. July 2nd, Science of Mind, A Philosophy, a Faith, a Way of Life by Ernest Holmes. Reading from page 284, paragraph 5, through page 285, paragraph 4, using inclusive language. Spiritual knowing is correct mental treating. Love is the impulsion of mental treatment. A consciousness of the divine presence in the one we are seeking to help is necessary, for we must provide different mental equivalents for healing than those which create disease. If the manifest universe is the outward form of the thought of spirit, if it is a result of the self-knowingness of God, and if we are of like nature to the Supreme Mind, then it follows that in giving a mental treatment we are going through a mental process of self-knowing. Consequently, only that kind of treatment will be effective that knows it will be effective. This is the true meaning of faith, for faith is not a foolish fancy, it is a dynamic fact. The treatment will find an outward correspondence in the objective world which will exactly equal the inward conviction when it is given, plus the necessity of its finding mental acceptance by the one for whom it is given. The more we think this over, the more rational it will appear to be. Faith in God is such a complete conviction that the Spirit will make the gift that there is no longer any subjective contradiction. This faith can exist only in such degree as the conviction is in line with reality. We cannot believe that any law of the universe will ever change its own nature because we desire it to do so. As we come into the spiritual realm, which is the perfectly natural and normal realm, we have to come into it in its own nature. It is a unity. There must be nothing vicious in it. Remember what Jesus said. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled with thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Why? Because we cannot enter into peace while we are in a state of confusion. It cannot be done. We cannot manifest love when we have a mental equivalent of hate in our hearts and minds. I love the last part of this is what is catching my attention this morning, especially there in the middle of page 285, the part where it's talking about treatment. Treatment will find an outward correspondence in the objective world which will exactly equal the inward conviction when it is given. So that reminds us, if we're willing to actually comprehend this at a circular level, right? What that's telling me is that whatever I'm experiencing in life is an outpicturing of my inward belief. The challenge oftentimes is that we are unaware of some of our inward beliefs. Um, those beliefs that are held so deeply that we're not even actively aware that we believe them, and yet we hold the energy of that. And life, law, is manifesting those things and they're being reflected back to us. And oftentimes our reaction is to be confused and to blame it on something else, that, and to just actively deny that there's no part of me that wants this. Well, what is a slippery slope, right? Because just because I don't want it doesn't mean I don't believe it, right? Um, there's a reason we call them hidden beliefs because they're hidden. They're below, they're that part of that iceberg that's below the waterline that we don't see, the danger that we don't see. And yet, life is constantly showing us through demonstration in our lives what it is. Um, so we get to see it. Then we get to choose something different. And oftentimes that means choosing to first, this whole section about lay the gift at the altar and go deal with the problem. If I have a hidden belief, first I need to stop. Go deal with the hidden belief. Resolve that. Change my thinking. Change my life. Then come back to my desire for peace, my desire for love. Whatever it is that I'm desiring, whatever offering I'm bringing to be a greater me, I have to be willing to go resolve the hidden beliefs that are being revealed to me so that I can do that. So that I can do that. It's a beautiful reciprocity. And I love what it says here. The other part of this successful treatment, plus the necessity of its finding mental acceptance by the one for whom it is given. We're always treating for ourselves. Even when we're treating for someone else, we treat for ourselves first because we have to believe. And that's the offering. And so if I'm treating for someone else to have financial abundance and I don't have that, then I have to treat that in me first. To leave my offering, go resolve what I have unresolved, and then come back. That is developing the receptivity because I have to be receptive first if I'm treating for someone else. And if someone else is treating for me, I have to be willing to receive that treatment, to trust that they are divinely guided by the word to speak the word and to trust and to open up to receive it. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. This thing called life, this thing called treatment, this thing called change, this thing called growth. It is gloriously, brilliantly messy. And if we can get to a place where we accept all of that, we lean into all of that without making it bad, without making it hard. This is just, it just is, right? Um, Ice cream is really good and it's really messy to make it. Right? So messy doesn't mean bad. Messy just means messy. Um, yeah. So I invite you to just lean into the glorious messiness of life as just being what it is and let it be amazing. And with that, I invite you to join me in a 5 minute meditation, and I will close this out with a spiritual mind tree. Here we go. one power, everywhere present, one love, one life, one substance that is continuously expressing itself in newness, in the multiplicity of expression, of form, never separate from itself, and yet individualized in a way that never repeats itself. Each and every expression, a one of a kind, intentional, on purpose, never to be repeated desire of this infinite beingness to experience and expand itself as that one thing, as that individualized expression of itself, known by many, many names: God, love, life, spirit, the divine, the great mystery. In this moment, I know it to be each of those things, all of those things, and so much more. I know it to be the named and the unnameable. I know it to be limitless, indefinable, and yet fully available to experience, defying the limits of my finite language. It is all there is. It is the singular substance out of which all is made, so it must be the substance out of which I am made. Made in the image and likeness of it, as an individualized expression of it, made out of it, by it, to be it, to live in alignment as it, to embody the truth of my being in this physical expression of it, to bring together all of the parts into a whole, into the recognition of a whole, into the remembering, into the recollection of the whole. Making space for every single expression of divinity. And what is true of me is true of all creation. So I speak my word with full recognition and celebration that the word is the divine speaking itself into being, into expression. I claim and affirm the clarity of the harmonious operation of one. I accept for myself and for all of creation that harmonious operation of one, that place of living in full recognition. And everywhere I look, everything I see, think, touch, feel, smell, experience is this infinite beingness expressing itself. That everything that I am is this infinite expressing itself. And so what is constantly available that I accept as my life is this harmonious operation of one. And I accept the demand that everything unlike that must be removed to reveal what it hides. And I say yes to leaving the gift of me at the altar and dealing with every belief that skews or minimizes or hides or distorts the truth of being. And then I return to the gift, to the offering. I say yes to, in these linguistic terms, doing the work, not of becoming, but of becoming aware and accepting and embracing and embodying what has always been. I say yes to life. Yes to life in a bigger way today than I knew how to do yesterday. Yes to a celebration of the infinite expressing itself in multiplicity in a greater way than I knew to do yesterday. To embrace, to love, to celebrate the holy, sacred, glorious messiness of life. I say yes. And I celebrate. I celebrate that the word spoken is the word fulfilled. And so it is with absolute confidence that I can trust, that I can stand on the agency of faith of the divine creative process. It has already made itself so, already enacted, already manifest. The desires of its own heart spoken through its own portal. Celebrate the yes, it is done. And so as acknowledgement of that celebration, I let go. I let go of anything that would in any way impede the full manifestation and experience of the word spoken. I let it all go. I take my human mind and hands off. I release any effort to control and simply receive and simply walk this day in that divine yes. 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 And so it is. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you.